Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the another preservative technique which is known as a pulse electric field. So this pulse electric field is nothing, it is a preservative technique. It is a preservative technique means that we use these technique to extend the shelf life to extend the shelf life of the food product products. This pulse electric field is an innovative technique. Okay, now when the shelf how this shelf life is extended, pulses generated. Okay, and this pulses generated, and this pulse destroy the microorganisms, and due to this destruction, the ultimately the shelf life of the food product is increases. Okay, so in today's lecture we have to focus upon the pulse electric field and how this pulse electric field are benefit for the preservation of the food product, and also discuss about their advantages, disadvantages, and their limitations. So let's start today's lecture. Now, why we use a processed food? Processed food means that when we use a, like suppose that when we have a food product, now after that we do a processing. Then why this processing is important? The main reason of the processing food is that it destroy the microorganism. When the load of the microorganisms is decreases, ultimately the shelf life of the food product is increases. And apart from the shelf life and the microorganism, it also maintain the sensory properties of the food product. Okay, and also also maintain that nutritive loss. Okay, we all know that when we pass the food products from a different technique, their nutritive values are affected. Okay, so when we process the food product, the nutritive properties of that food product are maintained, and this processed food are what? They are safe, ensure their safety and more convenient and economic value. When we do our food processing, then these food processing is either conducted by the two types. The one is your thermal processing, in which we use a heat. Okay, and another is non-thermal processing, which will be done without involving of heat, without involving of heat. Okay, so the product which are sensitive to these thermal processing, in that case of food product we use a non-thermal processing. Now see what is written here in this slide. Why processed food? It extended the shelf life, maintain the sensory properties, maintain the nutritive properties, ensure the safety, make more convenient, economic value. Food processing are divided into the two category, that is your thermal processing and non-thermal processing. In thermal processing, we apply the heat to the food product, and that heat do these properties like extended the shelf life and other properties, that is your maintaining their sensory properties and your maintain that nutritive value. And in non-thermal processing, what we have to do, we do a processing, we extend the shelf life, but without the involvement of the heat energy. Okay, and we do a non-thermal processing for that type of the food product which are very heat sensitive. Clear my points? Now come to the next slide. Non-thermal processing. We all know that in non-thermal processing, we apply a non-heat processing. Okay, like in non-thermal processing, we don't apply the heat, and it is used a product which are heat sensitive, like your fresh food by replacing the thermal treatments. Okay, like your fresh foods, like your products which are very sensitive to the heat product, produce minimally processed food with fresh quality and higher nutritive value because of their color and flavor retention. For example of non-thermal processing is your ohmic heating, microwave heating, high hydrostatic pressure, ultrasonication, and pulsed electric field. So in today's lecture, we have to mainly focus upon the pulse electric field technique. Okay, let's start. Pulse electric field technique. So first of all, we have to know that what is this pulse are. So simply the pulse are what? It is a single disturbance. Suppose that this is your one medium and this is your second medium. Now this pulse are arises from the first medium and then it reaches to the next point. That is known as a pulse, like a single disturbance which move from one medium to the another medium is known as a pulse. Now this disturbance are what? It is identifiable medium, and there is an energy transfer from the one place to the another place, but for this medium does not required between the two places. Okay, for the travel of this pulse the medium is not required. That is known as a pulse. Now what is written here? A pulse is a single disturbance that moves through a medium from one point to the next point. A disturbance is in some identifiable medium. Energy is transmitted from one place to other place, but the medium does not travel between two places. Energy is transmitted from one place to another place, but medium does not travel. Now, what is the pulse electric field? So this pulse electric field is nothing. It is a short electric pulses. Okay, suppose that like this is your medium and this is your electric fields. This is your pulses. So this pulse electric field are what? It is denoted by the PEF, that is your pulse electric field. And it in pulse electric field we uses a short electric pulses like this. Okay, the short electric pulses are used for the preservation of the food product. Pulse electric field is used as an innovative technique and it give a promising method for the non-thermal processing. It is one of the most appealing technology and it uses a short treatment time, like typically below 1 second. Within a 1 second, we apply this pulses and within a 1 second, it preserve our food product. So when we apply the pulse electric field, it required a short time and this also reduces the heating effect. Heating effect, when heating effect is reduces, that's why it come under the category of the non-thermal processing, and it also prevent the energy loss during the heating food is okay. Energy loss is also minimized, and in case of the fresh food like characteristic of food along with high sensory quality and nutrient content, it is suitable for the preserving liquid food and semi-liquid food so that the microorganisms are killed and produce a functional constitute like your milk, fruit juices, soup, egg, etc. Now it based upon the principle like we have to keep our food below the temperature normally which is used in thermal processing. Okay, we all know that in thermal processing we use around 80 degree, 85 degree, which is very high temperature. Okay, now in that category we keep the food just below that temperature. Okay, and it simply apply a shorted pulses. That shorted pulses have a high electric field, and within a microsecond it within a microsecond it kill the microorganisms. Okay, and this processing time is mainly calculated by that we multiply the number of pulses time with the effective pulses duration, and it based upon the pulse electric current which is delivered to the food product when we place that food product between two electrode. Okay, we all know that the pulses are generated when we have a two electrode, that is your anode and cathode. Now what we have to do, we put this food in between the cathode and anode, and when the pulse are generated, then this food are preserved. Now we apply a high voltage which give a result in electric field, and due to that high voltage the microbial inactivation are started, microbial destruction is started, and ultimately we preserve our food product. Now see what is written here. Basic principle: keeping food below the temperature normally used in thermal processing. Pulse electric field technology is the application of short pulses of high electric field with duration of microsecond to micro to millisecond and intensity in the order of 10 to 80 kV per centimeter. The processing time is calculated by multiplying the number of pulses time with the effective pulse duration. The process is based on a pulse electric current delivered to a product placed between a set of that electrode, and the distance between the electrode are termed as the treatment gap of the pulse electric field chamber. To apply high voltage result in electric field that causes a microbial inactivation. Now working, this pulse electric field technology are totally depend upon the pulsing power which is delivered to the product. When this product are placed in between the electrode and confined by the treatment gap of the pulse electric field chamber. This equipment consists of high voltage pulse generator and a treatment chamber. Okay, when we apply this pulse electric treatment to the food product, then that equipment contain what? It contain a high voltage pulse generator, and along with that treatment chamber which is very suitable fluid handling system and necessary monitoring and controlling devices. We will see that equipment in our next slides. Food product is placed into the treatment chamber. Okay, either in a static or continuous design where two electrodes are connected together with a non-conductive material so that it avoided the electrical flow from one to another. Generated high voltage electrical pulses are applied to the electrode, which then conduct the high intensity electrical pulse to the product placed between the two electrodes. Now these food products experience a force per unit charges, the so-called electric field which is responsible for irreversible cell membrane breakdown in the microorganism. Now due to that high voltage, the cell membrane of the microorganisms are break down, and this breakdown are what? This breakdown are irreversible. This lead to the dielectric breakdown of the microbial cell membrane and interact with the charges molecule of the food. That's why this pulse electric field technologies are suggested for the pasteurization of food like your juices, milk, yogurt, soup, liquid eggs. These are the equipment of the pulse electric field product. This is your controlling unit. Here you put the raw food product. This is pump, then it is moved to the treatment chamber, then high voltage pulse are applied here, then this is your temperature change chamber, and then here the food product are cooled down, and then this is your treated product, means that the product which are already treated with the pulse electric field. Then this is your commercial 25 kilowatt or 25 kW pulse electric field, a pilot plant capable of up to 500 500 liters or per hour throughout the put. Input requirement of that pulse electric field, like microbial inactivation 50 to 40 kV per centimeter, improvement of mass transfer plant cell 0.7 to 3 kV per centimeter. In apple juice, it is required around 22 to 34 kV per centimeter, and sludge and integration 10 to 20 kV per centimeter. Advantages. So, this treatment required a less time, low treatment temperature, and it is substitute for the conventional heat pasteurization. Like when we do a pasteurization, we give a heat. So this is what, this is a substitute for this, or it can operate at a room temperature, retain the quality and heat sensitive vitamin. It increases the shelf life and maintain the food safety with low processing cost, minimal processed food of fresh quality which have a higher nutritional value because of color and flavor retention. Pulse electric field inactivate the vegetative cell of the microorganisms like your yeast, spoilage microorganisms and pathogen. Reduction in microorganism 4 to 6 log, and it can be used to pasteurize the fluids such as your juices, milk, soups without using the additives. Pulse electric field also causes the formation of large permanent pores into the cellular tissues, and it can be improve the juice yield, increase the concentration of the functional component, and also enhance the characteristic of the dry produce. It support the conventional processing technique like your enzymatic macration and mechanical disintegration. Low electric strength or pulse membrane cause reversible cell rupture, stimulating a stress reaction in plant or cell culture, and allow the enzyme or protein with a potential health benefit to the harvested. Potential electric field or can be used as a batch or a continuous process, and it can be used for a pre-treatment application for the improvement of the metabolite extraction. Disadvantages: the cost is very high, and it is effective for the inactivation of the vegetative bacteria. Only microorganisms which are destroyed by the pulse electric field, but spores with their tough protective coat and dehydrated cells are able to survive. Refrigeration is required after the pulse electric field. If we have to extend their shelf life, then the refrigeration will be required. Treatment does not inactivate the enzyme. This treatment has considered added value for specific product and ranges. Then pulse electric field is continuous processing method which is not suitable for the solid food product. Okay, if we have to do a pulse electric field, then we have to apply it only for a liquid food product or semi-liquid food product that are not pumpable. Pulse electric field processing is restricted to the food product with no air bubbles with low electric conductivity. So application the first application is microbial inactivation by the pulse electric field. The applicability of PEF for microbial inactivation of liquid food has been proven by higher number of studies. Investigation impact of pulse electric field on the vegetative organism in model as well as real food material. So this is your cell membrane, cell constant, then we apply the electric field, and pore formation, the cell membrane due to the exposure to the external electric field. Now for juice processing, when we apply a pulse electric field treatment, then this juice are exceptional sensory quality is obtained that closely resemble the juice of freshly squeezed fruit, but which is very safe from a microbial point of view. An additional advantage for producer is extension of the shelf life that is obtained. The shelf life of the orange juice are extended by this treatment from few days to few weeks. Okay, when we store the oranges juice like few days and apply this pulse electric field, then the shelf life are extended from that few days to a few weeks. Extension are considerably simplify and distribution of this kind of juice, which give result less waste of the juice that otherwise would have expired. Okay, if we don't apply this, then the wastage are higher because this juices are expired. But when it passes through the pulse electric field, their shelf life is increases, due to which the expired product are generally the product are expired generally from in a more time, and the waste of the juice is also decreases. So this is the treatment plant. Then milk processing. This milk processing, like pasteurized milk, then passes through that type of that treatment. Okay. Then to obtain a self healthy and shelf stable liquid food product, we have to ensure that safety and maintaining the physiochemical quality of the liquid food product without sustainability impact the content and composition of thermolabile compound. This is especially relevant in case of that plant-based food, because some of the features like your aroma or bioactive potential are totally related to the heat sensible fraction, especially that fruits, juices, and the vegetables based beverages that exhibit a remarkable content in phytochemical with the health promotion benefits. Now, these technologies have recently used in drying enhancement, enzyme active modification, preservation of the solid and semi-stable solid food, and wastewater treatment beside. The ability of this pulse electric field is also increased permeabilization, which means that successfully used to enhance the mass and heat transfer, assist drying of the food tissues. Next is your pulse electric field treatment of microalgae, seaweed, and other aquatic species. So macro and microalgae are the source of vitamins, pigments, protein, as well as antioxidant and bioactive substances. These algae are extracted for the pulse electric field treatment and can provide a potential towards a gentle downstream processing. There is an increase in the yield of after that pulse electric field treatment, mainly in the case of extrability of the growth hormones. Plant oil extraction. It can be invented in 1988 by Sitman and Mertz. They reported that the separation of the tankage emulsion when extraction protein and fat from animal tissues. Oil recovery from olive oil are improved by 7.4%, and after the treatment of pulse electric field at 1.3 kV per centimeter in the comparison to control the sample. Soybean oil also increases the isoflavonoid content, which was reported. Meat and fish treatment. So disintegration of the animal cellular tissue, which is used to disintegration of animal cellular tissue, which is used in enhance the curing of the fish product or the meat products. Now, if we talk about the raw ham, then there is a long-term curing and air drying is applied. During such procedure, a pulse electric field treatment is also applied, but it's applied to improve the mass transfer. An increase in mass transfer rate, which is result give to a faster water transport to the product surfaces, and therefore drying time is also reduces. Sugar processing. It is a conventional process for the production of the sugar beets, disintegration and destruction of the cell membrane. A thermal treatment is also required, that is around 7 to 78 degrees Celsius. The membrane denaturation result in an acceleration of sugar release into the extraction media, but also cell wall component like your pectin may become soluble and can diminish juice purity and quality. The pulse electric field treatment of sugar beet could be increases mass transfer rate and could be allowed to reduce the extraction temperature, and better quality of that sugar can be Okay, so this is all about the pulse electric field. I hope you will understand, but if you have any query related to this, you are free to ask me in a comment box, or for a further detail, you can follow the ITLS Academy on different platforms. That is your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn. And subscribe our channel ITLS Academy on YouTube and get our app from a Google Play. You can also ask your query to the helpline number that are already mentioned in your slide. That is 7080833450, and visit our website, that is www.idlsacademy.com. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel.